Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan. I'm an attorney and I thank you so much for being here. This is a series I call Jordan's Journey, and I essentially talk about my journey throughout life, mainly law school and working in the legal industry. I'm always more than happy to answer questions about it, but today we're going to talk about my journey to law school, how I got there, and a little bit about the after law school phase of my life. So let's get into it. All right, let's start with undergrad because I feel like that's where we got to kick things off. And I have notes with me because there's so much I want to tell you and I don't want to miss out on anything because I know there's a ton of you guys out there who want to apply to law school or who are just interested in the process itself. So I want to fill you guys in on every detail. So I went to University of Miami. I got my 4-year bachelor's degree. I majored in business administration because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And that's what I felt like was going to be the easiest. And to be honest with you, I didn't really take college that seriously. I mean, I studied when I had to, but I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself. Because of that, I didn't graduate with honors or anything crazy. I didn't have a bad GPA, but I just wasn't an honors student. And I got my degree. And then after that, when I graduated, I was totally lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do, professionally speaking. So I actually took about 10 months to a year to kind of figure it out. And I took 3 different jobs in 3 different industries. I was a waitress at a restaurant called Christopher's Kitchen. I was a nanny and I worked at Michael Kors. So I was in retail, I was in the food industry, I was in the babysitting industry. I did it all. And honestly, I loved that part of my life and I loved working at the restaurant especially. I actually think everyone should work at a restaurant at least once in your life. I think it teaches you a lot about just how to deal with people, and there's just so much you can learn. Now, when I was making this video, I wanted to go back and like through my emails and see when I took the LSAT, what I got, you know, all the good stuff that you guys want to hear. And I actually remembered, and I remembered so much. I totally forgot I took the LSAT during college. I thought I just took the LSAT after college because whatever, we'll get into that, but I totally forgot I took it during college. So my senior year, a few months before I graduated, I decided to register for an LSAT. I took it, I didn't study, I just wanted to see what happened. And I think the reason I did this was because my parents always told me I'd make a good lawyer. At the time, I had no idea what that even meant, aside from the fact that I like to argue. And I just took the LSAT because I didn't know, I don't know, why not? So I took it and I got a 153. So the range is 120 to 180. 180 is like impossible to get. If you do get it, you're going to Harvard or something like that. So I got a 153. That's not, I mean, it's not great. It's just average, I guess. Now, for some reason, I wanted to move to Georgia at the time. I don't know why, but I wanted to move to Georgia. So I applied to University of Georgia Law School. I applied to Georgia State University Law School. I have no idea what I was thinking. I don't think I got into them because I didn't end up going. Okay, so I'm working these jobs. I'm working these 3 jobs, the nannying, the Michael Kors, the restaurant. And after about 10 months, I decided I was gonna take the LSAT again. Because I was just at this point where I had no idea what I wanted to do. And when you work in the restaurant industry, people really treat you like you are nothing. And I think I kind of felt like I had something to prove. And I really missed being intellectually stimulated. I love being intellectually stimulated, and I just really missed having that. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take the LSAT again, see if I can do any better than I did the last time, whatever. I wasn't 100% committed to law school, so that's why I was like, I'll just take it. I'm not gonna put a lot of pressure on myself. I'll study a little more than I did last time, but let's just see what happens. So I actually registered for a crash course. It's like a 4-week-long in-person course in the lobby of some hotel. I went twice a week. And I did some practice tests at home, and I ended up getting a 158. So I jumped a few points, but honestly not much, but it made all the difference. So I got a 158, but because I was taking the LSAT so late, so I took it in June of 2016 and school started in August. So what I had to do essentially was apply to school beforehand, before I took the LSAT, and then once I got my LSAT score, it would immediately send to the schools that I had applied to. So I think I applied to Georgia State again, I think maybe UGA Law School, University of Georgia, University of Miami, FIU, which is Florida International University, also in Miami. I think it was those 4. And so they sent, so I took the LSAT in June of 2016. I got my score back on, I have it written down, I got my score back on June 28th of 2016, and then I found out I got into University of Miami Law School the next day. The school called me to tell me I got in and that I got a scholarship, and that orientation started on August 11th, and school started on August 15th. So it all happened so fast. I committed there because they were giving me a half scholarship, and I couldn't turn that down. When it comes to law school finances, if you can save money, do it. So I went there, I found a place to live with my best friend. I moved within 3 or 4 weeks, and there I was. Oh, and I remembered while making this video, I told you guys I went through all my emails to try to get all the facts. I got into Georgia State Law School. I had no idea. I totally forgot about it. I was literally reading my emails. I'm like, I got into Georgia State? I had no clue. So that's how I made it to law school. And I think it's important to point out, I never went to law school because I was super passionate about being a lawyer. I didn't do it like that. I had this false impression that when you go to law school, you're guaranteed to make a 6-figure salary when you get out. You'll have financial freedom. You know, you'll be this boss bitch essentially wearing a suit, and it was just a totally off perception of what being a lawyer is. And I went and I was like, whatever, life is gonna be good after this. I never really had an interest in being a lawyer though. If you guys have any specific questions about law school, please submit them in the comments. I'm more than happy to do a law school Q&A. I just don't really know what you guys want to know. So please leave it in the comments and I'll make a Q&A video and I'll answer all of your questions. Now let's talk about post-law school just for a minute. So I spent 3 years in law school. I graduated in May of 2019. And then once you graduate law school, you have to take the bar exam. You're not a lawyer until you pass the bar. You're a Juris Doctor. That's what you're called when you graduate law school. But until you actually pass the bar, you're not a lawyer. So I graduated somewhere like May 8th, 2015 or something, and I had just finished final exams. I just finished this paper. I wrote a 48-page paper or something crazy. And I was like, I just need to take a week off. I just need a week off before I start prepping for the bar exam. Because right when you graduate law school, you gotta start prepping and studying for the bar, which you take at the end of July. So I needed a week off, and it just so happened that at this time, my fiance got an opportunity of a lifetime to go to France for work, to go to the Monaco Grand Prix, because his company was working with one of the race cars, essentially. So I decided I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna enjoy myself, I'll start studying while I'm out there. And I kind of questioned my decision in the moment. Like I was like, am I making the right decision? Because all my friends at home are already studying. I don't know what I should do. Now looking back on it, I'm so glad I made that decision. I don't regret it. So once we were there, I was studying a little bit. Like he'd go off to do things and, you know, like for work and stuff, and I'd stay back at our Airbnb and study, and I was watching lectures. So I studied while I was there, and then once I got back, it was full-on study mode. It was 9 to 5, sometimes 8 to 8. I mean, long days every day until the end of July. And then the bar exam was it was July 30th and 31st. So for those of you who don't know, the bar exam is over the course of 2 days, and this varies by state, but I'll just tell you what it was in Florida. At the time I took the bar, every law student in Florida takes the bar on the same day in Tampa, Florida, in the same room, and it's only offered 2 times a year. So it's like you're either taking it now or you're taking it in February, and there's thousands of kids there. It is the most overwhelming experience. So I got my results back on September 16th. So what is that, like 2 months later? It's the longest wait of my life. And that morning, waiting for my results, I was so nauseous. Oh my God, I will never forget that day. Anyway, I found out I passed. I had been applying for jobs. So my first interview was actually scheduled for September 26th, like 10 days after I got my results. I got the job, and I took the first job I was offered because I had to start making money. And I started work on October 21st of that year. So October 21st, 2019, I worked in insurance defense, which is so boring. And I quickly found out that the firm I was working for was so disorganized, story for another time, and my mental health tanked, absolutely tanked. So I stayed there until July of 2020, and then I left and I started a cookie company with my sister during COVID. That was super fun. And then I got a part-time job when the cookie company didn't work out, and I have not looked back. Now that I work part-time, I make my own hours. I get paid more than I did at my previous job, and I have so much more flexibility, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for maybe like a different opportunity in the law. They don't know what their options are as a lawyer. I would highly look into that and or freelance work. So that's my journey to and after law school. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding the whole process. Like I said before, any questions during law school or before law school, I'm more than happy to do a Q&A. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.